Hello everyone. I'm Martin, a psychological counselor on many different programs. On my YouTube channel, Martin Official, as well as on other mass media platforms, like television and radio. I share a lot of topics related to infidelity. One of the most important things, the elements required for a happy marriage, is for the husband and wife to be faithful to each other. However, faithfulness has become a very big challenge these days for many married couples. Quite a few people are always wrestling with a question, wondering if there's any way to know if their husband or wife is the type of person who is prone to cheating. Actually, I have to be clear. We don't have any kind of metric to be able to state with 100% certainty that certain signs can confirm that this person will cheat and that person won't, that this person is faithful and that one isn't. All of the suggestions from experts or articles on social media are only for reference. However, this also stems from the desire of many people, especially men, who want to know which women are the ones who are prone to having an affair, which ones are likely to be unfaithful. So today, I'd like to share 6 types of women who are prone to cheating, or who have a high risk of having an affair. Let me say, these are insights that I've drawn from my experience during my years working as a marriage and family counselor, as well as from referencing articles on various websites. I just want to share them with all of you. The first type are women who have high needs. Many people are already aware of this. High needs, in this context, means a high sex drive that perhaps the husband cannot satisfy. Think of this as food for thought, something to reflect on, something to help you adjust your own life. It's not meant for you to condemn. Any one or two jump to any conclusions. The first type we have to mention among women who are prone to cheating is the beautiful woman, or the one who thinks she's beautiful. Actually, it's quite easy to understand. When a woman is beautiful, she'll definitely have many men surrounding her. Many men will flirt with her, and with so many men hitting on her, that woman starts to realize her own value. Let's be honest, no matter how virtuous or proper a woman may be, if she is constantly surrounded by people flirting with her, then the number of women who can, toughen up and hold their ground is very small. Sometimes the tree wants to be still, but the wind just won't stop blowing. You might really want to be faithful, but that crowd of men won't leave you alone to do so. That's why beautiful women and those who think they're beautiful are the first type that we would consider as being prone to having an affair. Yes, the second factor we can talk about are those women who have a high sex drive, but are left starving for it. A high sex drive. Well, many people have a high sex drive, but if at home her husband or her spouse is someone who can also satisfy that need, then it's okay. No problem. They say that desperate times call for desperate measures. She has a high drive, wanting it maybe a few times a week, but he's just too feeble. In a week, he can only perform once, and the quality isn't any good either. It's over in 3 minutes. At first, she might grit her teeth and endure it, telling herself that, well, he's weak, but at least money. He's weak, but at least he loves the kids. He's weak, but on the bright side, he handles things well, both at home and in public. And there are no problems. But that resentment, it just builds up a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow. It accumulates until one day she meets a tall man, strong and healthy, and then you add a party into the mix. A little wine, a little beer. It just pushes a person along. It's so easy to fall into the arms of another, stronger man. So, the second factor, or we could say, the second type of person who is prone to cheating is someone with a high sex drive, but they are being neglected in their own family. The third type. We have to talk about those who work in a complex environment. This kind of environment presents many risks of infidelity. Of course, I'm not painting everyone with the same brush, but we have talked about this before. For instance, people in the entertainment industry, or those who work in the arts and culture sectors, or even civil servants. Places where people are generally knowledgeable, and they also interact and come into contact with many people. The work isn't as stressful as on construction sites or in factories. And then there are opportunities to meet and socialize. Conferences, then business trips. Today, you're in Da Nang. Tomorrow, in Kando. The day after, Hanoi. These are the kinds of opportunities that can make it easy for people to have an affair. Actually, for an affair to even happen, you also need the right combination of timing, location, and people. The act of working in an environment where there are many potential affair partners, as well as having free time, and also being here today and gone tomorrow, traveling a lot for work. That is also one of the things we call the right time and place. Yes. So that's the third factor. The factor of working in an environment that has a high risk of infidelity. The fourth type is a person for women who often socialize and hang out with a group of female friends where those people all have a lifestyle that is relatively liberal. For example, they live for the moment and party, and in a group of 4 friends, 3 of them have lovers, and the way they talk to each other. The topic of having lovers, affairs, and cheating is treated as if it's nothing. For example, in other circles, people would consider cheating to be something that's very condemnable, something to be ashamed of. But in the group of friends she's with, it's just simple, and their life is just carefree. And many guys sometimes also voice their opinion, saying, I don't want you hanging out with Ho, Huang Ku, or Tsai. Out of the 4 of them, 3 are divorced, and 1 is having an affair with a younger guy. If you hang out with that group, you might get influenced too. Then the wife sometimes gets annoyed and says, don't paint everyone with the same brush. It depends. I hang out with them, but I'm not like them. True, it's not that we're painting everyone with the same brush. It's not that just because you hang out with bad friends, you'll become bad too. But our elders also taught us to choose our friends wisely. You are who your friends are. In the old days, people had a saying that went, you tell me who you hang out with or who your friends are, and I will tell you what kind of person you are. So don't say that you hang out with bad friends, but you're a good person. That can happen, but we can't always maintain that. So, the 4th category is if your girlfriend or wife hangs out with a group of friends where many are having affairs. The 5th group is the group of independent and wealthy women. Actually, we really do encourage women to be independent. For women to be financially independent, for women to be economically self-sufficient, just like men. When we have money in our pockets, we tend to get involved in one thing or another. When you have money, you want to enjoy life. You want to go to the spa, get beauty treatments. Then you also like having people around you, having people flirt with you. And with money, you also know how to dress, how to do your makeup, and so on. It's also easy to travel. If you feel like it, you just book a ticket and go on your own. Relatively independent. You don't have to ask anyone for permission. You don't have to ask anyone for money. So, this is also the type of person who could be among those at high risk for having an affair. Right? The next type, who might also have an affair. is the one who has been cheated on by her husband. Women are really something else. When her husband cheats for the first time, he gets on his knees and begs, and she forgives him. The second time, he swears and promises that it's the last time, and she believes him and forgives him. The third time he messes up, he begs her for just one more chance, and she forgives him again. But there won't be a fourth time. You think you're the only one who can have an affair? You think I can't? At that point, she doesn't care anymore. Do whatever you want. Tit for tat. She does it. Sometimes, a woman's affair, after being cheated on by her husband, is really an act of gratification, an act of revenge to show that she's not afraid of anything, not intimidated at all. So, for this, it's both worthy of blame and worthy of pity. Because in truth, it's the consequence of being a victim, of having been betrayed, but using one betrayal to fight another is just a miserable path, especially for those who don't have it in their nature to cheat, but just because their husband had an affair, now they force themselves to have one just to prove a point. Feeling inferior is like being thirsty, but trying to quench that thirst with salt water. So, the more you drink, the thirstier you become. So, those are the 6 types of women who are prone to cheating or are at high risk of having an affair. I want to repeat that. This is just one factor, something to be considered for reference only. Don't anyone use these 8 points or these 7 points to go and measure your wife or your girlfriend and then declare that you must be cheating. Mr. Martin said there were 8 signs, and I see 7 in you, which means you're having an affair. Please remember, this is for reference. Let's avoid situations where we make baseless accusations, where we suspect our partners wrongly. For your life partner, I hope my sharing has been helpful to you all. And if you find it interesting, you can go ahead and subscribe and continue to follow my sharings on the Martin Official YouTube channel. If you need more in-depth counseling, more detailed, more private, and you don't want it to be broadcast, then just call the phone number 0-2-4-3-8 2-6-2-4-2-4. We can talk with you. And all information related to the consultation is guaranteed to be confidential. And for now, goodbye.